It is October in Rome. I think this is one of the best months to visit this incredible city. And in today's video, I'm going to show you why I think this. Anyway, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Arlene. I am an American woman of a certain age who moved to Rome in 2008. And on this channel, we talk about all things Italiano, lifestyle, St. Martin, Anguilla. And today's video is all about Rome in October. I'm going to the historic center. I need to run a few errands, so I will turn the camera around and show you the centro on a gorgeous day here in Rome. To the walls. This time of year is called Ottobrata Romana, basically October in Rome. And the reason why is because this time of year the skies are very clear, as you can see. There's a certain light, a quality that you don't see year-round. There's a crispness to it, and there is less rainfall normally in October than there is in November. November really is the start of the rainy season. And on a practical note, it's not as hot. You do get some days where you're like, is this summer? Electric Boogaloo too. But usually the mornings are very cool, evenings are cool. During the afternoons, it's not so hot. And while I think it's still high season in October, I mean, it's still pretty crowded. It's nothing like the crowds you see during the height of high season. It's around 10 o'clock on a weekday, and you can see it's not that crowded in Piazza del Popolo. And during the summer, during high season, no, it's a completely different story. So if you can travel to Rome in October, highly recommend. I'm not sure about accommodations, if they're cheaper. They should be cheaper than summer, but October and also September, these months are very popular to come to Rome, so I'm not sure what kind of savings you will get, but I can't imagine that it's the same price as what you pay during late spring, early summer. So I'm gonna walk down Via del Corso towards Piazza Venezia, which is under major construction because they're building the subway line underneath, and from what I understand, it's going to be going on for years. Who knows how long? 10 years, 15 years? We shall see. So Via del Corso is basically our high street. You find a lot of the big international chains here. There's a Foot Locker on the corner, like Adidas. The Gap is further along. There are a few like local shops as well, some Italian brands, but the big American ones, you will find them on this street. Oh wait, Adidas is not American. Okay. There are a few local shops, but most of the stores on this street are chains. There's also a H&M, there's Zara, the Apple store is further down, which is actually quite beautiful. It's, I forget what was in that palazzo before, but they did a stunning job restoring the villa. It's a beautiful building. I like getting to the historic center early in the morning before the crowds. Normally this street just packed full of people, especially on the weekends. But this early in the morning, it's not so bad. Highly recommend going to this museum, Palazzo Doria Pamphili. Incredible. and listen to the audio guide. It is done by one of the family members who lives in the palazzo. I believe they live on the top floor. There's also a great cafe that a lot of people don't know about. It's on the other side of this building. Highly recommend. So I'm pretty close to Piazza Venezia. Piazza Venezia. As you can see, there is a ton of work going on here. At least they did some artwork here, which I think is a nice touch. Let me tell you something. Trying to drive in this circle, not easy. In fact, I try to avoid it whenever possible. Normally, this is where we put the Christmas tree, but because of the construction of the new subway station below us, it's going to be at Piazza del Popolo for who knows how long. And here we go. They call this a typewriter building. I went upstairs for the first time a couple years ago to the lookout. Also worth a visit. And here is the tomb of the unknown soldier. There's some pretty fountains on the side. I don't know if they're turned off. I'm gonna go walk over and check it out. And here's what I mean, like, I don't like driving in the historic center at all. And most of the center is a ZTL anyway, but even on the weekends or early in the morning, I try to avoid it. I just walk everywhere or I take public transportation. Forum. I'm not going to walk too much in this direction because it's full on sun and it's a bit hot. But let's see if we can see the Coliseum from here. And here is another angle of the Forum. Okay, I'm walking towards the Coliseum, but I'm not going to get too close because it's going to be just too many people, too crowded. But I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see it. There she is. I will do another video walking around the Coliseum, maybe going to the Forum. So remember what I said earlier about how October is a great time to visit Rome because there are fewer crowds. Notice I did not say there are no crowds. There are still crowds, but this is manageable compared to high season. I know there are a lot of videos out there and people online saying, skip Rome, ignore Rome, blah, blah, blah. No. I think Rome is one of the most incredible cities in the world, and if you have a chance to come here, still come. It's just better if you can pick a time that's not at the high season. Also, it's so blazing hot. People really underestimate the heat here. Even if you're from like Vegas or Southern California, that's a dry heat. That heat cannot compare to the Roman heat. So again, great time to come here if you can. This is the Teatro Marcello. Sometimes we call it the mini Coliseum. And yes, those are apartments on the top floor. This is one of my favorite fountains in Rome. The Turtle Fountain. It's also very pretty. If you watch the movie The Talented Mr. Ripley, this is the apartment building where Ripley was hanging out. I'm in my old neighborhood. I'm not sure I got a good night's sleep ever in years, because when I first moved to my apartment, I mean, it was loud, but it was somewhat manageable. And there was just one apartment in the building that was a vacation rental. Everybody else in my building owned their apartments, lived there full time. By the time I left, all the apartments except one were vacation rentals, Airbnbs. And this is also reflected in how the stalls here have changed, what they're selling. Locals still shop here, but there's a lot of touristy, not great things. I would never go to any of the cafes on the piazza. So after I moved to my apartment, the antique store that was directly across from my building, okay, for like an example, what is that? And anyway, the building across from me, underneath the antique store, became a bar. Horrible. And the building, which you can see in the corner there, takes up an entire block, belongs to the Vatican. And so there are a bunch of stores underneath. The Forno over here, used to go there all the time to get pizza bianca. This used to be a local bar slash cafe, and like I said, the neighborhood's changed a lot. The newsstand that's in Piazza Farnese, which is the piazza right in front of me, used to be one of the best newsstands in the city. You can find all the international papers, international magazines. The man that owned it, very friendly. They also sold comics for the kids and like little toys for the kids. It's very much a local situation. Now they're selling just tacky souvenirs. The owner retired. So this palazzo in front of me is Palazzo Farnese. It is the French embassy. It's absolutely gorgeous inside. Stunning. I went on a tour with the American Women in Rome organization, and then I used to go here to vote when I lived in the neighborhood, to vote in the French elections. Now I go to Chateaubriand, which is a French school that's inside Villa Borghese. And yeah, this is one of my favorite piazzas in Rome. It's very quiet compared to Campo di Fiori. There's a great bar over there in a corner Bar Campaneschi. Service is slow as molasses, but it's one of the few places in this neighborhood that still has a local clientele, and tourists too. Tourists go there, of course, but it's almost like Cheers for this neighborhood. You walk by aperitivo time, you will always see somebody that you know from the neighborhood. So I do miss Bar Campaneschi. I used to go there all the time when I lived in this neighborhood. So this is Via Monserrato. It's one of the few streets in the historic center that still has a soul, that still has local businesses. It's also quite beautiful. Trying to get out of the way of this truck. One of the local shops, Il Paralume.
Ciao, buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Tutto bene?
Sì, tutto bene. Ciao. Oh, wait. So this is where I come to get custom lampshades, and they do beautiful work, and they expanded. This wasn't here before. I have to go inside another time, but they are wonderful. There are some fantastic shops on this street, including one of my favorite shops in all of Rome, which I talk about all the time, Chez Day. There's also an old school video rental place. So back in the day, I would come here and rent movies, and they have posters, and also Dylan Tripp, incredibly talented florist. If you need flowers, work of art. Also another great store. Okay, I'm gonna walk past. Oh, this is also a great shop for jewelry. And of course here is Shade Day. If you're coming to Rome, it's a must. It's a great place to pick up something for yourself or gifts for your friends. There are also art galleries on this street. Here's Pier Luigi's, very popular restaurant. They're known for fish. I had to pop in here actually for a second. I had to make a reservation, and now I am going to head back to Roma Nord, cutting through Piazza Navona, which is another one of my favorite piazzas in Rome. You have to see the Bernini fountain. And this church, Santa Agnese, is a great church to check out if you're in the neighborhood. The fountain was recently restored. Looks beautiful. This is Bernini's Four Rivers fountain. Walking past the Pantheon. I am back in my neighborhood, just got off the bus. Thank you so much for watching this video, and hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend.